Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Wednesday, June 7th. I just finished up trading for the morning and I locked in $1,109 in profits. All it took for me today was one trade. I met my $1,000 daily profit goal. And in this video, I want to break down this trade, talk a little bit about my thought process behind it. So hopefully you can take something from my trading and apply it to your own. With that being said, the one and only stock that I traded this morning was FARM. So FARM was a stock that was gapping up in pre-market. We could see it has this big early run up in pre-market all the way from yesterday's closing price of $1.93 up to a pre-market high of $3.47. So this was a big gap this morning. And if we take a look over in the Market Master group, we post the morning movers every single morning along with their news. We had FARM gapping up with news this morning as well. The company announced an agreement to sell direct ship business in one of their business facilities to Treehouse Foods. If we take a look at the link here, they were going to get approximately $100 million for that sale. So in my opinion, that was a pretty solid catalyst. There was a ton of volume coming in pre-market. And because of all of this, this was at the top of my watch list for a potential gap and go this morning. And the opening range breakout level for FARM was $3.15. Now, I actually started to get into this trade a little bit before that opening range breakout, and that's because of another thing that I posted in the chat, and that is the fact that we saw a lot of dip buyers showing up in the 290s. So one of the ways that you can kind of help yourself to spot dip buyers and where there is a lot of demand for a stock, aside from reading the tape and watching the level 2 and time and sales, which in my opinion is probably the best way to do this, you can also just keep an eye on the candlesticks themselves and look for long lower wicks on the chart. If you see a bunch of long lower wicks coming in at the same price level, if you think about it, all that means is that during that time frame, the price fell down into that level, but the demand pushed it straight back up. And if that happens over and over and over again, right around the same price level, that's a sign that there's a lot of demand in that level. So I posted in the Market Master group that this was showing some demand in the 290s. I started to take a starter position just above $3 per share. And then I added into that position actually as it broke above that opening range high, which was $3.15. In hindsight, obviously hindsight is 2020. I should have probably locked in profits into that initial spike and then added back into the pullback, but instead I added to my position. I bought more shares during that breakout, and then I once again bought more shares as it again held that 290 area and started to curl back up. So my average price on this trade ended up being right at about $3.09, I believe. And I ended up with 4,638 shares total. I got a partial fill on one of my orders, so I wasn't able to build into the entire position that I was looking to buy, but it was a decent sized position and a pretty solid average on the trade. So when I started to lock in profits on this trade was right into this pop here, back up into that morning high, just in case we ended up getting a double top. In that case, I didn't want to miss out on my opportunity to lock in profits the same way that I did on this first pop, but I only took partial profits there. I sold some more shares as it spiked up into the pre-market highs. We could see the pre-market high was $3.47. Anytime a stock that gaps up in the morning is running back into that pre-market level, there's a good chance that level becomes resistance. So I locked in some profits in the 340s. And then I locked in the rest of my profits after it kind of rejected that area and started to consolidate and trade sideways here in the 330s. So on that trade, I ended up with $1,109 in profits. I also want to point out a similarity between this trade and the HOTH trade yesterday. If you watched yesterday's profit and loss recap video, we talked about HOTH and we talked about this move that happened early at the market open where it spiked up, consolidated, traded sideways, and then dumped and kind of faded through the rest of the day. A lot of traders will see this price action that follows this spike as a consolidation period, and from there they expect it to break out and continue to move higher and higher. And while that is the case sometimes, more often than not, the stocks that are already overbought and have these big gap ups in pre-market, if they're consolidating sideways after a breakout, they often end up being a bull trap where inexperienced traders will buy into, and then they'll get dumped on and they'll end up taking a loss on the trade. So I wanted to make sure that, our team of traders was learning from what we saw with HOTH yesterday. So I pointed out these similarities between that trade and the one we saw with FARM today. to make sure that everyone was locking in profits, keeping themselves safe, and hopefully avoiding having to hold through a sell-off like we saw in HOTH. And if we take a look at Farm, this ended up doing pretty much the exact same thing that we saw with HOTH the previous day. We get that consolidation period after that initial breakout. Inexperienced traders are seeing that as an opportunity to buy the dip, but it ends up breaking down and selling off just like we saw with HOTH. So hopefully you can see that history does repeat itself. These setups can be very predictable. These big sell-offs that happen seemingly out of nowhere are actually a little bit more predictable than you might think. You just have to kind of learn to spot these different patterns and learn to think about what the market makers and what the hedge funds, the institutions, the algorithms are likely to do at a certain price or at a certain time. Okay, so that is the lesson for today, and that was a recap of my trading. I locked in $1,109 in profits with my one trade in FARM. If you want to hear about the stocks that I'm trading in real time, if you want to work with our team of traders and watch our live scanner streams, there's going to be a link down below to come join us in the Market Master group. I highly recommend you give it a try. Your first week will be 100% free, and I'm confident that you'll find enough value in it to continue to work with the team following your free trial. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found some value in it. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And thanks again for watching. Until the next video, good luck with your trading.